Apologies for the interruption in the stream. It seems that when I use a separate app to stream, it messes with my PC, and I'm not sure why. So I've had to revert to, because the streaming stuff I use is a browser-based stream. So I'm using Weather Zone layers for the radar this time because it doesn't seem to mess up with my computer if I'm using a browser-based radar as well. So apologize that I lost connection the last one, but yeah, apparently streaming a separate app messes with my computer, so that's good to know and make sure that doesn't happen in the future. But yes, we still got the nice little cell heading up north to the northeast. It's going towards Esk, probably affecting Esk by now. If the person that was listening earlier is back and was asking about Glasshouse Mountains, I think it's safe to say that it will likely affect the area, although, as I did mention earlier, they kind of wobble these things, so they have a little mind of their own, so they don't really go in the one straight line kind of track. This one's gone all over the place. So it's just the core that I'm worried about, but at this stage may scrape the Glasshouse Mountains. So we'll see what happens in the next hour or so, but it may actually scrape up there. It looks like Brisbane got a good drink. Let's just bring the lightning back up a bit stronger if it will actually do it. There we go. So they had a decent storm pass through with a bit of lightning going on there. There's a little cell down here that's got quite a bit of hail in it by the looks of it. And we've also got that line still coming in from the west, which is pretty lightning heavy, as you can see. That's pretty epic, all those strikes there. There's quite a few ground strikes as well inside this thing by the looks. So these are heading towards the northeast, and will likely head more towards Fraser Coast than the actual far southeast there. This little cell down the bottom here that I've been watching for the last hour or so, this may affect the Gold Coast, although, as I've mentioned earlier in the stream, the previous stream before I had difficulties, there is a cap closer to the shore, which is why that most of this stuff turned into kind of a messy situation along the coast. Still managed to produce a bit of lightning there, but for the most part, it's just turned into a big rainy mess. That may be the case when this reaches the coast more. But we will keep an eye on these, and just I will update as things progress. Just going to drop that lightning opticity down so we can actually see the echoes from the radar there. All right, I'll be back in a little while to update some more, but that's the update for now. But yeah, as usual, I'll keep the stream going so that people can come and go, and watch the radar to see what's going on for their area, if they're about to get affected or not. Lucid on YouTube. It's possible at this stage. It looks like that the cell that is currently heading towards ESC or affecting ESC right now is heading up towards the Sunshine Coast. But there's also a chance that this stuff behind will also affect the Sunshine Coast as it comes over. So yeah, it's definitely looking like this long-lived supercell here will definitely move up towards the Sunshine Coast here. It is still, I've just got the Met Center from Weather Watch up. It's still producing 5+ hail. And there was a report of, even though it's not on the bomb warning, so this is probably an unofficial report, but I've seen the photos. There were about 9.5 to 10 centimeter hail in this cell that's heading up, affecting ESC and heading towards Caboolture right about now. The cell to the south, so let me just move the radar a little bit. So this little guy down here, not that little, but this one is producing 5 centimeter plus as well. And even though it doesn't show it so much on this particular radar view, but this one here has a 5 centimeter plus hail marker on it as well. So I've just got background noises of gasps happening as I'm telling the sizes. So so yes, it's pretty bad out there, as was expected. So everybody stay safe, and I will keep updating as we get more information. But yeah, currently most of these cells with the purple markings have got 5+ centimeter hail with them. So these are very dangerous at the moment. So you need to take cover, and if you have time, put your car under cover, because yeah, the big hail that these things are producing are going to total your car basically. Logan should be mostly safe. And on the northeast of New South Wales, let's have a little look. So we've got some cells around up here. Let's have a look what Byron Bay, Lennox Head. Let's see if it actually tells me on my radar image. Ah, there we go. You should be all right in Byron Bay. Nothing major coming for you at the moment. Just keep an eye on everything as it progresses during the day. But so far, you're looking like you're just going to get a bit of rain in the northeast New South Wales coastal region. This cell to the west of you is moving to the northeast, so that shouldn't bring anything to the Byron Bay area at least. Yeah, Logan's looking okay for now, unless this cell here makes a track towards that particular region. As I've mentioned earlier, they can be a bit chaotic where they go, especially the actual core of the storm. It's not always in the same area. This one's been pretty well behaved down here, but as it's heading the northeast here, there is a chance that it could affect Logan later. But after this line of messy, stormy rain that affect there, it may not have the energy left up there to hold its strength. So we'll just keep an eye on that and our update as it gets closer. Caboolture. Let's have a look at Caboolture. Caboolture looks like it should be okay for the most part. Let me just check the hail marker on that part. So there's possible hail in this little bit here heading for Caboolture here. There is possible small hail with that one, but that one's not too bad. And it looks like the actual cell over ESC shouldn't affect Caboolture in its current track. So you've just got to worry about this this bigger load of rain here that just left Brisbane area and is over Strathpine and Deception Bay at the moment. So that's the one that's heading for you. So it's just got a small hail, so you should be all right. Just a bit of heavy rain, maybe a bit of wind, but that's about all you're going to see for Caboolture. I'll try and keep up with comments because there's a lot coming through at the moment. So I'll try and answer as many as I can. Yeah, Bribie should get that the same area that's heading towards Caboolture will be heading towards Bribie as well. So there may be a bit of small hail for you guys, but and mostly a bit of heavy rain. So the actual supercell that I've been monitoring most of the Arvo, that one shouldn't affect you. It should slip just to the north towards Glasshouse Mountains. Yeah, for the sales tonight, it looks just like a band because of all the activity that we've had in the east here. The atmosphere will be drained, so there's a chance that most of these cells coming along to the west of the southeast Queensland area will lose their strength as they come along and just turn into a rainy mess. That's what the predictive radar was showing last night. So it looks like that's what's going to be the case. As I say, I'm going to try and answer as many of you as possible. I'm just getting a lot of comments coming through. Gold Coast. Gold Coast has this little cell down here that could affect that particular area. Let me just move the radar so get a better view. So this guy here, this one has 5 centimeter plus hail in it at the moment. This may affect the Gold Coast on its current track, but as I explained a bit earlier, this previous activity may have stabilized the atmosphere somewhat. So it may not be quite as strong as it is now, because right now it's got pretty much the whole sky to itself. But as it gets over here, it's going to enter an area that is a bit more stabilized. So we will keep an eye on that as it progresses and see what happens with this particular cell there. Let's have a look. Just having a little look as for people that have asked questions. Yeah, Lismore should be okay. I'm having a brain fart and I can't even remember where Lismore is. That's terrible. These maps are actually kind of terrible and don't put everything on. Okay, I'll check out Lismore in a sec because I'm having a brain fart and completely forgot where the town is. That is terrible. I apologize, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around here. So yeah, it's give me a minute with that one. But for now, while I'm refreshing my forgetful memory, I will address the Maroochydore. Yeah, that place up there, Maroochydore. You wouldn't believe I actually lived in the area once, so you think I know how to pronounce the places, but clearly not. This cell that we're monitoring at ESC at the moment, that is heading towards your area. So the one that's been producing some really big hail, up to about 10 centimeter hail, this cell has been producing. That one is heading towards that general area. So just be aware. I'm hoping the cap on the coast will cause it to weaken before it gets to anywhere too populated. But yeah, this one is definitely one to watch for you guys along this area up here. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. So it's up in the middle. Okay, around here. I thought it was somewhere around there. So yeah, okay, Lismore is looking pretty much okay for now. Bit of rain, light rain with these storms that are coming across. But yeah, for the most part, you should miss the worst of it today, which I'm pretty sure that is the news that you did want to hear. Because poor Lismore gets hit by quite a lot of big events. So to say you're gonna be okay is probably the news you wanted to hear. Okay, I was just talking to people and forgot that I had muted my mic again. This for Stanthorpe, this cell here, that tracked very close to that particular area, so it's very likely you won't see anything too severe for Stanthorpe. Now, I saw people asking about Toowoomba and that general area. This out the west may come through because you guys did miss this supercell that's tracking up to the northwest. So there's still a potential for you guys may see a bit later on this afternoon. I'm expecting more of a rainy mess later, with possibly some embedded thunderstorms in it. The forecast radar last night, that's what that was showing, but I'm just going to quickly in another tab have a little look for later and tell you what. So yeah, the forecast radar currently is showing that a lot of this stuff in the west will turn into a rainy mess as it moves closer. So yeah, guys in Toowoomba, you could get something later, nothing too dramatic. Gympie could see a bit of rain later on. Doesn't appear like this supercell here is going to track towards the Gympie area. It's more going towards the Glasshouse Mountains, Maroochydore, and those kind of areas up here. So just along the Sunshine Coast. We've got this bit of a blob here that is moving towards Caboolture. Should be affecting Caboolture anytime now. And that will head for Bribie Island. Kingaroy is probably in the same boat as Gympie. You will see some of this reach it later this afternoon into the evening. So nothing too dramatic, just more of a rainy mess most likely. And I think that's probably the most that people really want at this stage is don't want the dangerous hail, that's for sure. So it's at Caboolture now, and Bree, how bad is it? Is it just rain? Any hail? Because at the most it looks like on the hail tracker that I use in another window here, it's showing possible hail, but there's no actual size to it. So there may be small hail in it somewhere. The one that's just past Esk is still got that 5 centimeter plus hail marker on it. So it's still going along pretty strong. Thank you, Carly. awesome. It's great to have people on the ground giving reports as it happens. Because if any of you have listened to my streams before, I'm actually in Darwin. That's why the time at the bottom is Central Standard Time. So it's nice to have eyes out there and actually see what's going on, because radar doesn't always give you everything. Logan and the Gold Coast. I'll come back to that again. There's a possibility that this little cell down here will affect you, but as I mentioned earlier, there has been some activity go through the Gold Coast not too long ago, as you can see here. So the atmosphere may have lost a bit of steam. However, there is a little area of clear here, so sometimes the atmosphere can recover quite quickly. So it's just my advice at this stage is just to keep an eye on this one, because that's a candidate for Gold Coast at this stage. So questions for further up the coast. So as we can see here, we've got a line of thunderstorms stretching across inland Queensland. These are all moving to the east. So there is a chance that anywhere from about Rockhampton south could see some storms overnight. It just all depends on if these can hold strength. And if they organise better than they are now, then there is a high chance that these could reach the coast. So just another thing to watch because there is some cap. So, and cap will kill a storm. This basically suppresses any activity. So unless you can break the cap, we'll just have to see what happens later on tonight. Thanks, Jason, for jumping in. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can here, but I'm getting a lot coming through. So I apologize if I miss people. I do have on the streaming website I use, I do have all the comments coming through, but they have been coming through quite quick, so I've missed some of you, but I'm trying to cover as much as I can. So yeah, thank you, Jason, for jumping in the comments there. I've got Renee with me as well. Welcome as well, Renee. So, the little cell down the south here has the hail marker has dropped to 4 centimeters, so that's good news on the hail front. May increase, they do fluctuate. The only cell that's really kept its 5+ marker is this one that's just past ESC there. So that one has kept hold of its 5+ marker there. So that one's still a fairly dangerous storm. Hopefully the BOM are actually doing their job and keeping updates coming. Of course they're not. I won't get started with the warnings. Logan is in the neck of... 1 second, I've just got to clear my throat. Sorry. Okay, I'm back now. Logan is possibly in the path of this stuff here, or this stuff just developing over here near Clifton. Now, Clifton did have a storm go through earlier, and there's now cells popping up here. There's no lightning in them yet, so the atmosphere may be recovering fairly quickly over in this area, because this supercell did pass straight through there. If I remember correctly, Clifton saw 5 centimeter hail. So that cell went straight through, and it does look like it's recovering. Anyway, that was a bit of a sidetrack there. So yeah, Logan could get something this evening. Same with the Gold Coast, because what I'm expecting this to do is to form a big rain area. At least that's what the predictive radar from Access C is showing. And so far, Access C has been fairly decent with its outlook. It was a bit aggressive with how many storms would be around, but it got the general area of where things were forming correct, so that's always good. So yeah, the Gold Coast and Logan could see this cell pop through as it crosses the border, or they may see this this area developing behind to the west here. Just had a little look where Graceville was. That's why I went quiet for a moment. Graceville would be probably affected by this stuff forming. Actually, it would help if I went into the radar. So this area out near Clifton, that will move to the west. Same with this over here. So later on this afternoon or this evening, I'm expecting bigger rain areas to form across the whole region. So far, it's starting to fill in the middle here, so it does look like that forecast radar could be quite accurate, so we'll see how it tracks. We've still got this little cell down here that's going to go up to the Gold Coast for now, and the stuff on the Gold Coast that was affecting you guys is now cleared by the looks of it. And yeah, North Gold Coast is good. Sunshine Coast is going to get something a bit later. This cell here that is still producing large hail is heading towards the Gold Coast. Now you can see it's showing a bit of weakening, but I still expect it to hold relatively decent strength as it comes towards the Gold Coast. Sunshine Coast, I apologize, sorry. Get me coast wrong now. So yeah, you guys on the Sunshine Coast should see this, but you've got this in the west as well, so you should see some rain later on as well. Oh yeah, Dave. Yep, these things went off pretty quickly. I was meant to get up earlier for this, but I could not sleep last night in anticipation of how bad today could have been, or has been actually, because the cells that have formed have been pretty dangerous. So yeah, that batch just near Clifton is developing pretty quickly there. So that is telling me that the atmosphere around there has recovered somewhat to allow that further development where this supercell had actually dumped some giant hail earlier, not too long ago. So yeah, it's redeveloping pretty quickly out there. Hey, Liv. I just touched on the Gold Coast, but I mean the Sunshine Coast, but I'll just quickly go through it again. This area, yeah, because if you've just joined, you wouldn't have heard it. This area, this storm right here, this one is, I'm anticipating to head towards the Sunshine Coast. Hopefully it doesn't hold the large to giant hail marker, but currently it still is. I'll just update my radar tracker here. And yeah, it's still holding on to that giant hail marker for you guys. But hopefully it drops intensity before it gets to the more populated areas. It's already gone through a few towns and dropped a lot of giant hail, so that's quite a devastating situation. But yeah, hopefully it eases up a little bit as it heads towards the Sunshine Coast. I just saw another question. Belina should be okay, I believe. I did see it earlier. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so the northeast New South Wales, other than that cell near Wollongong, and these few little weaker cells out to the west here, nothing major should affect the northeast New South Wales area. Other than down south, this little area seems to be a bit excited with itself down here. So we've got some cells down just near north of Coffs Harbour, but in the Belina area and Evans Head, you should be fine. But we will monitor it, and if anything updates, I will let you know. Good question. What's classified as giant hail? Anything over 5 centimetre. So when I'm seeing the 5 centimetre plus markers on the hail tracker from WeatherWatch, that's telling me that there's giant hail. So large hail is anything from 2 centimetres to 5 centimetres. Anything over 5 centimetres is classed as giant hail. Large hail is bad enough and can hurt, but the giant hail is actually can really, really damage property and cause massive injury if you're caught out in the middle of it. So that's the definitions for the different hail sizes. Caboolture, there was a possibility of small hail, but that seems to not happened, thankfully. But yeah, it doesn't look like you're going to see anything. It just all depends on this stuff in the west here. So for areas just answering Maryborough, again, this west stuff is moving to the northeast. It's just coming towards Miles here, Condamine, heading for Chinchilla. Tara just got a bit of a cell go through, but this stuff here is heading to the northeast, so your chance of anything will be this band of storms here. So it's more likely into the evening and overnight that you guys will see anything, if you see anything at all. The chance of anything severe did decrease as we went north, so we'll just monitor that as we go along. So yeah, the Gold Coast had a bit of capping to it earlier, and that's why things pretty much died off as they reached towards it. That's what I'm hoping with this cell, that as it reaches that area that it will weaken significantly. So we're just monitoring that at the moment. Now this little cell up here looks like it might be dying. So actually you guys on the Sunshine Coast may escape some of the worst. But this wouldn't be the first time that cell has looked like it's died off and then it gets second wind. So we'll see how we go, because we've still got this one that's tracking up the coast here. So I still reckon the Gold Coast will see some rain. Sunshine Coast, don't get me coasts wrong again. It looks like the Sunshine Coast will still get some rain, but I'm hoping that this cell loses the giant hail before it gets up there. So this is a developing situation, so I'm just trying to keep up with it. Each frame tells me new information. So if it does contradict what I've said earlier, that's unfortunately the way that these situations go. But I am trying to keep up with what's happening at the time. The Wynnum Manly area should be okay tonight. You shouldn't see any hail. I lived in Birkdale for a while there, and I think mostly we saw hail very, very rarely. So you should be fine. Gold Coast should be fine as well. I'm not expecting anything too dramatic for you guys. But as I've said in previous coverings of this, I'm watching this cell here that I'm just circling. Hopefully the mouse is showing. But this one near Wollongong, that one's heading to the northeast. So I'm monitoring this one for the Gold Coast, and still continuing to monitor this cell for the Sunshine Coast and this bit of rain, as well as the stuff out west. As we can see here, we've got another bout of thunderstorms just developed pretty rapidly there. And I'll just bring out the lightning thing more. That stuff near Clifton that I said was developing pretty quickly has now got lightning in it. So everything is recovering pretty quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this holds strength to the west here as it moves in. But with that capping on the coast, it may ease up a little bit on the Gold Coast. But going by current situation here on the Sunshine Coast, the capping may be a little bit weaker up there. So we'll just monitor that as time goes and see what happens. Shouldn't see any hail and bad winds in Gold Coast, but again, this all depends on this particular cell down here. Currently, it has just going to update my hail tracker here. It currently has a 3 centimeter hail marker, so it has dropped in size because that did have a 5 centimeter plus hail marker not too long ago. So I'm not expecting anything too dramatic on the Gold Coast, but I will closely monitor this, and we will update either Renee and Jason in comments or me on voice, one or the other. But we're monitoring this this cell down here for the Gold Coast. As someone said, it's blue skies, so it will allow the atmosphere to recover from that bit of rain that went past, but with the capping out there, it may kill this off somewhat, so we'll see how it tracks. But it's just going to cross into Queensland very shortly. There is a chance that the Caboolture will see some of this stuff to the west. Everything's been tracking to the northeast so far, but these things seem to be a little bit more to the east, northeast. So we'll see how this one goes, because these may be a candidate for coming up towards Caboolture area. Just see how they track over the. I'm just circling them, and I realise I'm not in the right tab. Okay, so these areas here are what may follow the this cell's track. So the one up near Mount Byron, that came through the Clifton area earlier. So if these cells that have just popped up down here follow the same track, then there is a chance that Deception Bay, Caboolture, that kind of area may get hit by them. But once again, it's a developing situation, so we'll just have to watch and see how it tracks. No worries, David. Glad to help. Hey Jordan. Yep, Rocky has. I'll just move the radar up towards the central area here. So anywhere from about South Rockhampton south could see some of these cells move in later. They could form more cells on the outflow boundary as well as it heads towards the coast. But it doesn't seem to be anything too dramatic at the moment. So just have to monitor it. But if you do get your chance, it will be later this evening into overnight. So you may get woken up in the middle of the night with some thunder and lightning. So yeah, just keep an eye on that little section, which, as you can see, is heading in a general Rockhampton kind of direction. So we'll see if this one makes it all the way to the coast or not. Rebecca, basically what it means is when a storm, the idea of a thunderstorm is it fixes an imbalance in the atmosphere. So when you have an unstable atmosphere, it basically means that the atmosphere is not balanced, if that makes sense. And when a storm goes through, it corrects that balance, and so you get a more stabilized atmosphere. But when we refer to recovering, it means that the energy and instability, so it's actually kind of the opposite to recovering, but it's just a term that we use in storm chasing. But it basically means that the instability has come back. So that allows for more storms to form to correct that imbalance in the atmosphere again. So that's basically what that means when we say recovering. So it's recovering to allow more storms to form. usually when you get a storm go by, it's often why you will not get storms one after the other often, except for occasional times when the atmosphere is that unstable that one storm is just not enough to balance it. But normally you'll get one storm come through and that's it. But what we're seeing this afternoon or this evening, almost this evening, is where storms have gone through. So near Clifton here, this supercell, which was dumping 9 centimetre hail, came through that area earlier today, so a couple of hours ago. And what we're seeing now is storms developing again. So what's happened is the atmosphere has either it didn't fully stabilize, or because of how unstable the atmosphere is, it's allowing more storms to form where they had already gone through. Hopefully that explains it a bit better for you, Rebecca, what we mean by that. So Jindalee, yep. The Brisbane area could see some of these cells. They seem to be taking them more to the east track, these ones this time. So what that probably the reason is, there's possibly still a bit of stable air over Gatton area, because you can see that there's that break in there. So we're keeping an eye on this. But for the Brisbane area, this little cluster here that's just developing could potentially head towards that particular area. Sorry, Jason, I just noticed you answered as well, so we both answered. Welcome, Elizabeth. Could be. We have the cells to the west, and we have more cells developing in between. So we could get a bit of rain with some embedded thunderstorms develop as this gets bigger. After the storms that have gone through, the atmosphere has recovered somewhat, but it may end up causing more of a rainy mess, as we call it, over discrete cells. And if you're wondering what I mean by discrete, it basically means a cell that has a sky to itself. And that cell just up here, it looks like it has been. It's hit that cap and it's weakened up. But it does look like it's going to affect Caboolture. So if David is still listening, I'm pretty sure it was David Gardner that asked for Caboolture. Here it was. So if you're still listening, mate, looks like this cell has weakened but is heading towards Caboolture now. So it should bring a bit of heavy rain. Hopefully not too much hail now by the looks of that. So yeah, you should just get some hail, heavy rain, maybe some small hail, and a bit of a light show. G'day, Belinda. Yeah, you guys may see some stuff from this line tracking up to the northeast. So there's nothing been up here ahead of it. So it's got a clear sky, but there may be a bit of cap, which basically can suppress or kill storms. So we're just keeping an eye on this because it's quite nasty out west there. So if it holds that that particular strength, it could be quite nasty up there for you guys. But we'll just see how it goes. With any luck, the cap will keep it under control a bit and weaken it, and just gives you some rain without the damaging hail. Yeah, it's weakening a bit over Calandra a bit, but still a bit of rain coming up. But that cap along the coast is definitely affecting these storms as they come along. So luckily this one has now, on the hail tracker I use, this one has lost its giant hail marker at last. That's probably about 2 hours or more it had that marker on. It currently just has hail possible. So it's still possibly got some large hail in there, but it's definitely lost a lot of steam as it hit the coast. The stuff out west is probably turning into more of a rainy mess here as well, so that's a good thing. So we're not getting too much bad stuff from there. The only one we've still got trudging away at its old strength is a little cell down here, just over the border now. That one still has a hail marker on it as well. So currently it's only got a possible hail, so that's interesting. It looks like it's got more hail in it than that, but we'll see what the updates have. So that guy is heading to the Gold Coast, but is likely to weaken as it approaches. Hey Ricky, going by the radar, it's possible anytime now. This cell has died down a little bit, but it's still got a little life to it, and it's even developed a little purple area. Glasshouse Mountains will miss the most of it by the looks of this, but you should still see a bit of rain out that way. But you shouldn't see the big hail. It's lost the large hail marker that it had earlier. So yeah, it shouldn't be too dramatic, but you should still see some rain. It looks like it's pretty much on top of you if it's not already. Hey Adrian, yeah, I'm expecting a load of rain to start going. As we can see, these storms and rain here are starting to spread out a bit. So I'm expecting more rain for coastal regions later on this afternoon, this evening. So keep an eye on those because yeah, it's starting to expand out here now, and it will probably just be a rainy mess by the time it gets to you. Maybe with some embedded storms, but rain's better than nothing at this point. Hey Ashley, it probably won't hit you at its current intensity. Pretty much anything that gets to the coast ends up a rainy mess, like you can see up here in the north. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting that to do as well. But we'll keep an eye on it and see how it tracks. But That's my expectation at this point. Further west over at Roma and places like that should be fine in miles. Where's Roma gone? It's run away. There it is. Yeah, Roma's going to be fine as well. That's way out of the way of everything now. Miles, it looked like the storm did a great big split around it pretty much. So yeah, those areas out that way are looking fine. And yeah, Adrian, I agree with you. There was reported, well, measured almost 10 centimeter hail out near Clifton. So yeah, those guys would be seeing quite a bit of damage happening. And we've got more cells popping up in that general area as well. Doesn't look like they've got hail this time, thankfully, but yeah, it's a bit of a worry. Doesn't look like Warwick will get anything too dramatic at this point. Just some rain possibly later on as this lot starts building up. Yeah, so we've got, just going to the radar now. We've got this little bit area of rain here, so that's probably about the worst you could get at this stage. But as I've said throughout the stream, we will keep monitoring and updating on new developments. Just like this storm up here, it looks like it's got a new life again for the third time in its track. This one doesn't seem to want to die, and now it's got the 5+ hail marker back again. So just when you think it's weakening and everything is looking a-okay, it says F you and starts again. But it seems to be missing the Glasshouse Mountains, and the area towards the coast is weakening. But there is that little area just here. Let me just pause it on. Oops, pause it on that frame. So this area here has potentially got 5 centimeter plus hail in it again. So this little cell just does not want to die. You think it's about to die, and it goes, yeah, it goes F you and starts again. Hey, Christine. Do you mean between each frame? So each movement here. If you look down the bottom here, if you can see where my mouse is at the bottom here, so each frame is 5 minutes. So it's 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes between each frame. And of course, as you can see, it's because I'm in Darwin. The time is in Central Time because it's in my local computer time. Yeah, so Rebecca, what happens when they group up sometimes is they form what's called a mesoscale convective system. So it's like a bunch of storms that kind of act like almost it looks like they're in a low pressure system, but they're not. So that could be what's happening there. We'll have to wait a little as time goes on, but that definitely could be what's forming there is a MCS for short. And that's good, Christine. Yeah, so yeah, it's every 5 minutes each frame. And apologise if you hear the dog in the background. Got washing up being done, and it loves water, so it's just barking at the water. So apologies if you hear all that in the background. If Rebecca, if you I don't know if you follow the actual page directly or anything, but there is actually a video I've got a while back, a few months back now, where we had some people wandering around out the front here, and because I've got security cameras out there, and they were coming up towards the fence, and the dog that was barking in the background, he just went "Ruh, ruh, 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 ruh," and they just ran. So yeah, if you look through my page, you will find it. It's a few months ago, I think now, but it's quite funny to watch the guy that was coming towards a fence. You could see soul leaving his body at the time. Okay, so update on that cell down south, just across the border not long ago. It's hit that stable air along the coast there, and it looks to be dying off. So if the Gold Coast does get any more rain, it shouldn't be anything too dramatic. Just as this will be my term of the day, but it will end up being a sloppy, rainy mess at the most. Just a quick update on the developing situation here. Maroochydore is in the firing line of that cell. It's still been dangerous warned, as it has now redeveloped into a storm that could be producing giant hailstones once again. That little bugger started off somewhere down near the border, I think, earlier today, and it's gone all the way up to the Sunshine Coast. So it's looking like Maroochydore will be in its path, and possibly areas a bit further north. We've got the line of storms and rain coming in from the west. That would likely affect places north of Brisbane, potentially Brisbane itself. Just depends on what this part down the south here seems to kind of been doing its own thing, going against the grain as such. So yeah, definitely watch it. That storm down south that died off and just went into rain for the Gold Coast. And yeah, that's pretty much the update so far. So I will leave this running still, as these storms are being quite unpredictable still. For those that are still watching, I will be away from computer for about 5 minutes. So if anyone comments in the meantime, I will get back to you once I'm returned. So, but I won't be gone too long. Okay, I've returned after I was just away from the stream for a few minutes. Okay, Taylor, if you're still there, could see some stormy activity mixed with rain a bit later on. Same goes for Logan Village. So we've got this line coming in from the west. It shouldn't be anything too dramatic, but there is a chance that a mesoscale convective system is forming here, and that will just basically means a load of rain with embedded thunderstorms that kind of curate their own little system of storms. So that looks like what's that developing here at the moment. Now, as for Gladstone, probably not. There is this down here near Torum that could possibly see some activity. And someone did ask me about Torum earlier, and it looks like there's going to be a bit of a storm system coming through there. But as for Gladstone, yeah, it's unlikely this will reach the coast at this stage. But just keep an eye out. But yeah, Gladstone is not really known to get too many storms, so probably most likely be the same. So we'll just keep an eye on that one. Pretty much the same for Loganholme, same as Logan Village and the Bayside. And yeah, we'll get a bit of rain, maybe a few storms embedded in this line coming through, but that's about it for now. Nothing too dramatic is expected. Most of the big stuff is to the north now, and we've got this cell that's is it actually going to die this time? This one that keeps fooling me, looking like it's dying, and then it gets another wind going. So yeah, and you've got a few stronger cells embedded just near Gatton. But other than that, it's nothing too dramatic at the moment for the area. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying to fill in the gap that obviously these new updates have left, and I think it's nice to have a kind of like a live radar for people to come back and forth. I've had people like, because I see the viewership who's looking at any time, and it goes up and down, up and down, up and down as people come and have a look, check in, go away, come back, check in, that kind of thing. So that's the idea that I have here, just so people have a one-stop shop kind of thing. Cameron, there's no tornadoes being reported. There's been a few brief couplets that have appeared in this cell up here when it was down further towards Gatton and Esk, but there hasn't actually been any actual tornadoes reported. So what that tells us is it's a wannabe, so it tries, but it just doesn't get to the ground. So yeah, at this stage has been nothing reported, just brief couplets that look like they tried. It looks like that little cell, long track supercell, is now actually dying just as it passes the Sunshine Coast up here. So just as it approaches, Maroochydore will get a bit of rain and maybe a bit of lightning with it, but for the most part, that storm has died. Now we're just watching these cells here. This could, as I mentioned in previous commentary, this band of storms could turn into a mesoscale convective system, which is basically a cluster of storms that act like its own kind of weather system. So sometimes they can look like they're rotating around each other. There could be some embedded supercells here, so the threat of large to giant hail hasn't passed yet. So we'll be still watching this. I will keep the stream going for a bit longer now, but probably not too much longer. But we'll keep it going. Just why these bigger cells are about, and especially considering the stuff down in the metro area as well down here. We've got this little cell that's heading towards the Gold Coast, so maybe, fingers crossed, the Gold Coast will get better rain than it has done recently today. So yeah, we'll see how that one directs. Like, this is the new candidate for some rain across the Gold Coast. That one down here. And then for Brisbane, we've got this cell that we'll watch here to see if that comes across. A lot of the western areas, even into Ipswich, looks like that it may receive something in the next half an hour to an hour. So we'll just see how these all track as time goes forward. But you see these purple areas, they are the areas that we watch for large to giant hail, most likely large in this case. And looking at the hail tracker, most of the markers are just large hail, which still can be damaging to cars and property and people. So make sure you have your stuff under cover. Just another update again. Dalby has seen a gust of 104 kilometers. That's the highest gust that's been confirmed by weather stations today. So yeah, 104 kilometer hour from this little storm that went through, or most likely that storm anyway. When did it happen? I mean, it was about an hour ago. So yeah, probably that storm. So that is the highest gust that has been observed by official equipment, and likely probably the strongest gust that's been observed all day. But yeah, 104 at Dalby. Hey, Michaela. Still got this little bit here that could possibly impact Brisbane, but for the most part, it looks just to be a lot of rain. So that's probably all you're going to get tonight. So, but just watch that little section there, or even possibly this one just up here, and yeah, we'll see how that tracks. But yeah, it doesn't look like anything too exciting for coastal regions at the moment. Just this rain. And thank you, Ricky. That's nice of you to say. And Lisa, sorry, I just noticed your comment as well. Thank you as well. Hey, Mel. Yeah, probably just a bit of rain. This storm here seems to be breaking down for the most part as it approaches the coast, but you may get a bit of rain and possibly a bit of lightning with this. But as you can see, as it moves close to the coast, it weakens. No, not likely any hail in that one. Just be heavy rain. There's no hail marker in the hail tracker, so you should be fine for hail. And at this point, I will let you know if that changes. But currently, there's no hail marker on it at all. There are still hail markers about, but as far as the most of the far southeast, so Brisbane, Gold Coast, that kind of area, there's no hail markers except for one cell, which is this one here. Just bring that out and just pause it on that last frame. So the only one in the immediate southeast down here is this cell right here that still has a 5+ centimeter hail marker on it. So we can see here, this is actually the max reflection you can get on weather zone. So that's indicating that there could be some giant hail within this particular cell. But all these other ones all over the place, they have no hail markers at this time. These guys up here do at varying levels. So just quickly going into this, we've got 3 centimeter up here, and we've got possible hail in these lot here. So depending where you are exactly, unless you're in the track of this one, that's the one that I'd be concerned about the most. The others are likely not producing anything too dramatic, just that little one there. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. So yeah, I'm trying to answer. I had an influx of comments earlier, so I had my two other admin, Jason and Renee, help me out earlier. But yeah, I'm trying to answer every comment I see. It's died down a lot, the comments now, so I'm able to go into a bit more detail with each one. And we can see that, speaking of detail and going into thing, we can see that little cell near Esk is still trudging away up there. So it's moving to the northeast, following the track of the last one near enough, that one that just went off the coast up the top there. So yeah, that one's going through the same track. So we'll keep an eye on seeing what that little one does. G'day, Michaela again. So we've got that little patch that I spoke of earlier. That looks like it's going to head straight for Brisbane, so should increase in some heavy rainfall soon. Now I'll just quickly check the hail tracker. I don't think, yeah, just as I thought, there's no hail in that one. So yeah, you should just have some heavy rain. Should start very shortly as it moves east to the east-northeast there. Hey Sheridan. Yeah, no hail in Omaha. It's just could get a bit of rain come through, but other than that, you'll be alright. There's no hail in any of these cells coming towards the east here. So yeah, you'll be alright. Nothing to worry about with those particular ones. It's just this cell up by Esk that has the hail in the immediate Brisbane area. Apologies, Rebecca. I just realised that you actually asked a question. I wondered why there was a question mark next door to it, so apologies for that. Let me have a little look for you while we're here. So the one by Warwick. Okay, it probably won't. As you can see, this little area up here, That one's dying, so that gives us an idea of what the atmospheres are like ahead of this one. So the one going for Warwick here, and the same as this guy here. Probably won't, but like this situation has fooled me many times today. Some of these cells do start regenerating again, so they go through this recycling type phase where they do drop intensity. It's like this one up here. That's just dropped intensity here. Now, it would not surprise me if in a couple of frames time it increases again. So the only one that I would really be concerned about for Warwick is this one, but it appears that it's moving on the northeast track like everything else. So you're probably going to get, I'm pointing at the screen with my fingers, you can't see my fingers. So it's probably going to slide between. So you get this one to the east, this one to the west, and Warwick is probably going to miss out for the most part. So if you don't want big storms, then that's probably a good thing. Yep. So Brisbane here, D is it's starting to get this little weaker cell coming across. So you would be hearing some rumbling soon. Should start raining fairly decently shortly as this track's over. So this will probably be the best drink that Brisbane has got today. Just looking at the latest observations, and Brisbane itself has got 9.6 mil, so this will top up on top of that. The highest official amount in the area is 25 mil, at least for the southeast. Just quickly checking through if there's anything else. No, outside there's no other things right this second, but I'll go into detail more about that later. I'll check it all. But yeah, some decent rainfall coming from Brisbane hopefully here, as this load of rain moves east. And looks like some of the rest of the coast will get a little bit of a drink. Nothing too dramatic, but so yes, bit of rain all around. But I appreciate the you stuck with me for the whole 3 hours I've been here. Some of it's been pretty quiet because I can't really talk about things the whole time, but yeah, I've been coming through, giving updates when I can, and yeah, so I'm glad you've been enjoying the stream. just been talking to someone in Facebook Messenger about this storm, and they brought it to my attention up here. This one is quite gusty, this storm up here. So if you know anyone just northeast of Torum, they will probably be aware, but yeah, that one is quite strong up there. So it looks like southeast Queensland for the most part is starting to clear and weaken. Still got a few little storms like this one down here and over the border, but in the greater, like the far southeast corner, it's coming, it's starting to wind down now by the looks of it. But yeah, further up where nothing has actually been yet, this little cell up here is doing its own little thing up here in a line. So quite strong gusts on the Doppler. Me and my mate that were just discussing this, we were both agreed that would be an awesome cell to be on right about now, but I don't know if there's anyone on it. Yeah, it's a nice little cell up there. Well, I think that's about all for me tonight. thank you to my loyal few viewers that have remained with me until the end. But most of the dangerous stuff has passed now. But any updates we will now post by text. And if anything super dangerous forms in the meantime, I will go back live streaming. But at this stage, it looks like it's mostly clearing from the major population centres. We've still got this storm up here, but it's mostly in rural areas, so it will not likely affect too many people. But if there is anyone up there, just be aware. And there's also this line coming towards Gympie, Maryborough, Biggendon, and places like that. So just be aware that you will get a bit of rough weather coming in. But looking at the hail tracker, there's not much hail in them anymore, thankfully. So as far as hail goes, it should be not as much. But there still could be some gusty winds, especially in this at the top here, and possibly even this one down here. But yep, that's all for me. Thank you again to people that listened, and have a good night.